us has something special that makes us as beautiful. Do you know what makes us as beautiful? Now the answer to that can be a little difficult to find. Sometimes life has a cruel way. Take a piece of this flower, take them out, and broke the pieces into. Now when you're broken, it's very difficult to feel special. Honorable judges, my fellow flowers. Now I can remember the first time I broke. I was 15 years old. I had already flunked my junior high school and managed myself to get in. See, I wasn't afraid of the cops, but there was one person I was afraid of. My mother. See, I hear her scream outside the police station, even cops were afraid of. She came up to me and looked into my eyes, and I saw a tear coming down her face. But I see my mother's cried before, but mother's cried 3 types of tears. Tears of joy, tears of sorrow, and tears of shame. But when the son sees a mother cry, tears of shame. That's a life-changing moment. See, my mother came up to me and said, "Son, I want you to be a better man." And I remember that words. That night, I drove her home. And my dad was waiting for me at home. You know, I have a cool dad. So, raise your hand if you have a cool dad. Raise your hand. Now put them all together, you get my dad. See, when my dad came up to me, he said, "Son, it's okay. You flunk your exams, you fail, and you get yourself arrested. That's fine, because you got your mother's side." Now, my dad said, "I want you to start working immediately." And I said, "Okay." So, my dad took me to meet one of his friends called Abdullah. Abdullah was an accountant, which he accounting firm, and had generously decided to pick me as his personal assistant. And there he was. He looked like a teddy bear. But this man is special. I look at him, and he looked at me. And he said the most amazing thing I've ever heard. He said, "Son, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is." I'm like, "Whoa." And he said, "If you decide to work with me, I can help you find that something." And I was like, "Whoa, that's the first time in my whole life that somebody ever told me that he sees something in me." And then after that, I used to work with Abdullah every day. After work, he used to tell me stories about history, about culture, about philosophy, about the world. And it was much more interesting than what I learned in school. And then, after 2 months, I came back to school, completing my exams, and reached into the next level, which is now I'm right here as a senior high school. And then I found a great girl. I look at her. I love her. The way she smiles at me, the way she smiles at me, it's so beautiful for me. I date her, and she accepts me. Then I used to talk with her every day, almost every day. But that night, when I date her at the late dinner, I asked her a question. "Dear, my lovely, why did you date me?" And she said, "My love, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is." didn't know what I want to do with my life. Have you ever had that problem? That problem is so stuck in my feeling. Did get lost. I feel lost. And I went to my cool dad. And then I said to my dad, Dad, I'm lost. And he said, you are like your mother. And then I went to school, and my teacher introduced me with something strange club, with strange people, with strange name. These strange people talking about table topics. They told me, on the first meeting, they told me to do something called table topic. I aced it. I love speaking in front of people. But when I speaking in front of people, I see a man sitting back room, humble, simple. As soon as I finished, he walked up to me and he looked at me dead straight in the eyes and said, son, I see something in you, but I still don't know what it is. And that's made me so curious. What is something for me? What is that something for me? And that night, I had a nightmare when I slept. And then I woke up at late night. And I wake my mother up, and I said, Mom, I had a nightmare. And my mom said, dear, I saw something in you, but I still don't know what it is. See, when you're broken, it's very difficult to feel special. But if there's great people in my life, they can reach in and fix the flower and make me whole again. What I'm trying to say is, if you have a great people in your life, no matter how broken you are, how desperate or how lost you become, remember, those great people will fix you back. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I look at your eyes and I see something, but I still don't know what it is. Back to you, Mr. Samuel.